Can you feel it stirring beneath the roar of Ford Field, the electricity crackling sharper than ever before? Has Detroit's fate finally twisted on a dime this offseason, shaking loose the chains of frustration and missed chances that have haunted Use for so long? Could this be the shattering moment that breaks the cycle? The arrival of a force so mighty it changes the very air we breathe, the very game we love? Mash that like button and drop your belief in the comments if you're ready for the Lions to flip the script, because rumors are flooding the corners of the NFL world. Whispers that send shockwaves racing through the Motor City faithful. And if what's swirling around these talks is true, the NFC North, hell, the entire league will never be the same. Insiders say a seismic shift is in motion, whispers echoing. From the coaching staff's meetings to the gleaming offices where big decisions are made. The kind of buzz that has Lions fans holding their breath, teetering on the edge of disbelief and hope. The chatter is subtle, but electric names pass under hushed tones. Hints of a move that could redefine power on the defensive front. A deal that would shake Detroit's lineup and strike fear into any quarterback brave enough to face our D-line. And then, like a thunderclap in the quiet, the name drops: T.J. Watt. Yes, the four-time All-Pro, the 2021 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, the relentless, sack-hungry beast from Pittsburgh who has tormented offenses with his explosive speed and brutal technique. Imagine Detroit, the city that lives and breathes grit and determination, finally tipping its hand and investing in a game-changer like Watt. This isn't just another off-season signing. This is a clarion call signaling that the Lions are all in. No more rebuilding whispers. No more tepid bets. Detroit has been knocked down, bruised, and left gasping for air after countless playoff heartbreaks. The sting of the Washington Commanders' 45-31 playoff blowout still fresh in our memory. A game where our defense was exposed, our weaknesses on brutal display. But Watt is different. He's the kind of defender who doesn't just sack quarterbacks. He rewrites the script of every snap he's on the field. He embodies the ferocity we crave. Power combined with a cerebral edge, like the Lions' own Aiden Hutchinson, now clawing back from injury, paired with the proven veteran Zadarius Smith, forging a front line that could be nearly unstoppable. Detroit's defensive woes, ranked 24th in sacks last season, can suddenly turn into a nightmarish gauntlet for offenses, the kind that force game plans to crumble and hopes to flicker out early. And here's the kicker. The Lions have the financial room and draft capital to make this dream a reality, possessing over $40 million in cap space to not only snatch Watt out of Pittsburgh's hands, but to cement the defense's future powerhouse status. Remember those soul-crushing near misses, the seasons of rebuilding with hope deferred, and the legendary roar of the 57 defense? The ghosts of Detroit's past are woven into every snap, and this signing could be the exorcism we've been waiting for, a chance to rewrite history, one that ends decades of what-ifs and could best with the glory the city deserves. But let me stir the pot a bit. What if this isn't just a signing? What if T.J. Watt's arrival twists locker room chemistry in ways we can't predict? Could his presence ignite the fiercest playoff pursuit this city has witnessed since the days of Barry Sanders, where every snap pulses with urgency? Or might the gamble fracture camaraderie, adding pressure that burns too hot even for this hardened group? The stakes have never felt higher. And then, lurking in the shadows of these exhilarating possibilities, there's that unspoken question. If Detroit pulls this off, if T.J. Watt dons the Honolulu blue and silver, will it spark the wildest Lions offseason in history? Could this be the first piece in a dynasty puzzle that finally brings Lombardi hardware back to a city aching for it? So here's where we leave it hanging, because in the heart of every Lion fan burns a hunger that defies logic and reason. A faith that this season, this trade, this lightning in a bottle of a moment might finally change everything. And if that domino falls, we're not just witnessing a signing. We're witnessing the birth of a new era. Will the roar that shakes Ford Field this fall be the echoes of redemption, or just the first whisper of a legend unfolding? Buckle up, Detroit this offseason could make or break us, but it will forever change the story we tell about who we are. Raise your helmets, Lions faithful, because the storm rolling into Detroit this offseason is no ordinary gust. It's a hurricane tearing through the shallow calm we've been trapped in for decades, threatening to rewrite the narrative of a franchise long defined by heartbreak and unfulfilled promises. Rumors swirling not only point to T.J. Watt's seismic arrival, but also hint at fierce locker room power dynamics that could either forge an unbreakable brotherhood or ignite volatile rivalries beneath the bright lights of Ford Field. What if Watt's intense, uncompromising drive conflicts with veteran leaders already entrenched in narrative-defining roles? Could offensive stars feel the pressure mount from newfound defensive firepower, shifting the team's balance and forcing friends to become foes in the crucible of championship ambition? And what of the NFC North, a division already poisoned with grudges and grudging respect? Imagine the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field trembling under Detroit's newly fortified pass rush, Minnesota's previously unchallenged defense now squirming under relentless pursuit, and Chicago's defense staring down a gauntlet they never saw coming, all of them suddenly fearing the Lions' elevate and devour mentality as we hunt for playoff redemption. This is chess at full throttle, with Dan Campbell's fearless, no-turning-back coaching style propelling a squad desperate to shed decades of painful labels. Labels earned by painfully missing playoffs, by being the butt of the NFL's cruelest jokes in that soul-crushing 0-1-6 season that still echoes through our minds like a nightmare from which Detroit refuses to wake. Remember Calvin Johnson, Megatron himself, a luminous beacon of hope whose ascendant career felt like a promise that fizzled too soon. A tantalizing glimpse of greatness never fully realized because the supporting cast and franchise could never quite seal the deal. Remember that infamous Dan Orlovsky end zone fumble, frozen in the agony of time, a symbol of so many Lions games slipping through our claws. Remember the bitter sting of Jim Caldwell's firing, a pivot toward upheaval we hoped would turn the tide, but somehow only deepen the wilderness years. And last season, a playoff run that reignited our collective hope, only to see it flicker precariously against the Commanders' defense that made our own look brittle, our dreams suddenly ephemeral and fragile. Through it all lives the ghost of Barry Sanders, sprinting past defenders, but never quite escaping the shadow of what could have been. His legendary agility a metaphor for Detroit's elusive quest for glory. If T.J. Watt becomes a Lion, we're not just adding a player. We're opening a new chapter charged with weighty ghosts and soaring hopes. A chance to exorcise the ageless demons of missed opportunities and collapse under playoff pressure. Yet with great power comes a crucible of questions. Will Watt's fire melt barriers and unify a team starved for authenticity? Or will the glare of such intensity cast long, difficult shadows that threaten to fracture locker room harmony? Will Dan Campbell's bold gambits in practice and game day finally coalesce into a formula strong enough to hold under the relentless weight of playoff expectations? Facing an NFC North suddenly staring down the barrel of a reinvented Detroit defense, will rivals quake in their cleats, recalibrate their strategies, or double down in bitter defiance as we surge toward an epic that promises to rewrite not just our fate but the entire league's blueprint? This offseason, this potential signing, this very moment stands perched on the edge of history. Will the roar from Detroit's loyal faithful explode into a battle cry that reverberates through every stadium and street corner, a sound that declares we are no longer the team to be pitied, but one that demands respect? Or will the pressure build until cracks appear, fracturing dreams yet again and plunging Detroit into the familiar abyss of hope deferred? Lions fans, the Gridiron sands are shifting beneath our cleats. Are we bold enough, hungry enough, relentless enough to seize this dawning opportunity? The question hangs heavy in the Detroit air. If T.J. Watt steps on the Ford Field this fall, will he usher in the dawn of a new dynasty? Or will the weight of expectation snap under the pressure, leaving us once more chasing shadows in the night? The engine is roaring louder than ever, Detroit. Are you ready to roar back with it, or will this be another echo lost to time?